Good evening, I'm Lee Anderson. There's a trending challenge called Everesting, where people attempt to climb an elevation equal to the height of Mount Everest. It's an incredible feat for anyone at any age. 2 teenagers from Bend took on the challenge within the last 2 weeks. Max Goldwasser shares their story.
Ian Brown and Park Chapin, 2 teenagers, 2 friends, and 2 talented athletes. At 15 years old, Brown has been a competitive cyclist for more than half of his life. Chapin, a 16-year-old, has been on this grind for the last 5 years. Both have accomplished some pretty incredible things over the course of their careers, but they told me the Everest Challenge was in a league of its own.
I know that was probably one of the hardest challenges I've ever done.
It's probably one of the bigger things, which is funny because I never really thought of it as like a bigger thing. It just like, now that I'm like, it's done, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, there's not a lot of people that have done that. That's pretty big.
The Everest Challenge, or Everesting, is when people ascend to an elevation of at least 29,029 feet, which is the height, of course, of Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in the world. Brown accomplished the feat 2 weeks ago here on Summit Drive in Northwest Bend. He said he rode up and down this street 85 times, traveling 150 total miles and finishing the challenge in 13 hours and 30 minutes. Meanwhile, Chapin rode here at Pilot Butte on Tuesday. He says he did 64 laps, traveled 140 total miles, and he finished in 13 hours and 43 minutes.
Yeah, it's just really cool to know that you can achieve something like that big of a challenge. So that was the biggest thing for me.
Chapin says the accomplishment is still taking time to sink in, but when he looks back on it, he credits part of his success to early encouragement from his friend.
When I started riding back up again, he's like, hey, and I'm like, oh dude, thanks so much for showing up. He's like, yeah, I know personally for me the mornings were the hardest part. So that was just like, oh wow, it felt pretty supportive, and then it just kind of picked up from there.
Brown said he would be willing to try it again, but wants to explore other challenges first. And as for Chapin,
it might be interesting to actually try to climb the actual mountain, but not do it again.
In Bend, Max Goldwasser, News Channel 21.